Good morning. This is Jim Newcomb with Pete Certified Auto Center, and today we are working with a 2005 Corvette, and it is the model that is called the C6. And what we're having problems with this car is that whenever he turns the key on, gets it running, puts his foot on the brake, and then he can't get the shifter to come out of park. This has an automatic transmission in it. And so here's some things to tell you about the Corvette. So most of you guys that maybe don't know is that you have a key fob. And the key fob, if you leave it in the car is going to lock on you. So you need to always make sure that you have the keys outside of the car, have a window down so you don't have to worry about the alarm locking the car on you. So to get into the car, here we go. We've got that right there. We've got the little red light going on. Coming inside, what we've had to do is to remove the shifter and replace it. This is the shifter assembly. Shifter assembly is right here. That's a new one that we've just installed. Some of the big problems that we have is fighting trying to get this cover off. When we take this cover off, it's very important that you're extremely careful with it. It comes out rather simply, but the biggest challenge that you're going to have is taking the shifter in and out of park and neutral, and then moving the shifter back and forth, and then getting the sequence so that you don't get so frustrated to where it's like, okay, what do I do now? So then the alarm goes off, and then you turn the engine on, you turn the engine off, no, that don't work, okay, let's go ahead and do this, let's do that. And so the nice thing is that this is a push button design start, so you got to have the key fob in the car. So there's the key fob, so the vehicle registers the key fob, and if you go ahead and hit the start button, it doesn't start. The reason why it's not starting is because I don't have my foot on the brake, and I don't have the door closed. So, got to get into the car. Let me. Okay, so now we're in the car. We have the green light. So now we can start it, and we do not have to put our foot on the brake. So, here we go. Oh, got to put our foot on the brake. So now we got our foot on the brake. Now she starts up and goes through its sequencing of double checking everything, doing all the goodies. So you notice I have all the wires disconnected for all the different terminals, because installing the shifter, the cigarette lighter, here's another little wire harness. And then up here in the dash, you've got the wire harness here. It goes on the very top, and that's for the emergency flasher. And you can see all the way around the perimeters where the dash unit goes. And then here's your e-brake. The e-brake, you have to pull the dust cover off, lay it off to one side. You can see the metal clips. It's got two clips, and the two clips hook up. One right here, and the other one goes into this little slot right there. So I have all the other wires disconnected, and some of the biggest challenges is making sure that you had all of the wires pulled off of the connectors without breaking them. So now, we push it on the brake, you hear a click in the shifter. So with the engine running, it's hard to hear that. But maybe I can get a little closer and you can hear the click. So when it clicks, there's a solenoid in the shifter assembly, and that releases the shifter, like most vehicles. So here we go. So now we're going to go ahead and move the shifter into reverse, neutral, drive, 3, 2, and 1. So the interlock is inside of the component, and it's down inside, and it's bolted in with 4 bolts. So the shifter assembly, there's 1 bolt here. It's a 10 millimeter. Shut this engine off. So we're going to shut the engine off. So now we got the motor shut down. The instrument panel will tell you to shift to park. And then you've got a red light flashing, and you got the accelerator. The red light is flashing, and then you have the accessory light that is on. And our shifter is in neutral. So now I'm going to move the shifter into park. Shifter's into park. The light's gone. Now if I want to move it out of park, I cannot get it to come out of park. I hit the brake. I still can't get it to come out of park. The accessory light's off, and the engine light is shut down. So now if I hit the accessory button, I hit the brake, still won't come out of park. Oh, now it does. Okay. So, now we'll hit the brake again. There, it comes out of park. So we'll turn the off button. Did you hear the shifter lock? Click. So now, let's move the shifter. Cannot move. I pushed it forward. You heard the little click. We'll hit the accessory button. You hear the little click. Now we can move the shifter with no brake being pushed. There you go. Little click again. Hit off. Solenoid engaged. Can't move the shifter. Put on the brake. Can't move the shifter. Okay, so hit accessories. Push forward on the shifter just ever so slightly. Hear the click. Push on the brake. There we go. Now we can move her. Okay, so let's go through the sequence one more time. So we are going to start the car, foot on the brake, start the car. Goes through its sequence, checking, set up for driver Tony. Foot's on the brake. Click on the shifter. Push on the button. Goes through all the gears, no problems. Turn the engine off. Foot off the brake. Shifter will not move. Foot on the brake. Shifter will not move. Accessories. Push ever so slightly forward on the shifter. Hear the click. Grab a hold of the shifter. Now the shifter moves. So once it energizes, now it moves freely without any problem. So turning it off. Heard the shifter click. No movement. So the problem the customer had with the vehicle is that whenever he would get ready to start the car and he had the engine running, he could not get the shifter to pull out of park. So that's why we had to R&R the shifter assembly, and we did a series of multiple tests to confirm that. Usually it's the brake switch, or it's the wires, or it's the shifter. So you have to determine which one it is. So there's one bolt. There's another bolt. There's another bolt. And then there is another bolt. So you got a total of 4 nuts holding the shifter assembly down. The shifter has an extension piece inside of the tube here, and then there's a shifter cable, and it just snaps right off. So all you got to do is just get like one of these kind of pliers, and you use that, and you can just pop it right off without any problems at all. So everything is pretty much snap in place and ready to go. One thing that I have found is that we've got this little guy right here that's moving back and forth, and then this guy right here, I believe, needs to be hooked up to it. So that's going to be another event that we need to see. So sometimes these guys here, they get removed, and that to me is the lock, and that's what that is. That's the lock for the